Hey, thanks for joining us today. It's Kim from Carolina Sewing Back. I wanted to take a moment and just show you some of the features that are built in on your Destiny, mainly featuring the IQ Designer. I know some people are a little bit afraid of the IQ Designer, but I found that it's one of the best features on this machine and I really do love it. Today I'm going to show you something simple like working with the built-in shapes. Getting ready for Valentine's Day, you might be looking for something that's built into your machine or something you can freshly create. So today we're going to learn how to take one of those built-in shapes, add a background fill, and also use the applique built in to finish off the edges of our heart. So let's get started. When you turn your Destiny on, you'll notice that 3 different menus come up. We could go to sewing, and we could go ahead and go right into our regular sewing with our utility stitches. Embroidery comes up, so that's great if we want to pull something off of our USB drive and sew, or something that's built into our machine. But today we're going to focus on the IQ Designer. So we'll touch that, and immediately we have a whole new screen now to work with. First, we're going to select the heart by using our built-in shapes. So the first thing you're going to touch now are the shapes. And you'll see that that opens up a menu where you have a nice selection. We're going to use the heart today, so we'll touch that one time and tell our machine that that's our selection by saying OK. You'll notice now that it has brought that heart right into your design screen. And what we want to do now is over here, about middle way of your screen, you'll see that there's a little cup. We want to take that cup button and touch it once. It's the one that's beside the paintbrush. And then the icon directly beneath it and beside the color icon one time. Now this screen allows us to go in and select and make changes again. We want to use background fills. To get those, we touch this icon and select. That opens up a screen to all your background fills. Some of us may have more than others depending on the Destiny model in which you have. Today I want to select the roses, which are built in on all models. Touch it one time and you'll notice that it highlights it. It's stitch number 004 in your background fills if you're wondering, then touch OK. Now we are free to select a color. So we want to select a color for our fill. I think I'm going to do a pink heart today. And you'll see that your color changed here in this block. Once that's done successfully, please touch OK. You'll see your heart appears, and all we have to do is touch in the middle of that heart. What I'm going to do next happens very quickly. So before you do it, I want you to make sure that you see your background roses in the colors that you've chosen right here. This icon used to be red. Now we're going to touch in the middle and you'll see everything bloom. So that's our background fill, and that's what you'll see here. We also want a satin stitch or some type of stitch to go on the edge and cover up our raw edges. So this time, rather than using the paint cup, we'll select the paint cup that's beside the pencil rather than the paint cup that's located beside the paintbrush. Touch that one time, as well as the icon directly beneath. This time you'll be able to select just a plain satin stitch or what you want that stitch to be. I want to choose the stars. Once I do that, I'm going to select this dark purple down here and then choose OK. And where you want to touch now is the outer portion of the heart. Now again, this happens quickly. I want you to listen for a beep, and once you hear that beep, you'll know that we've done what we need to do. Did you hear that? Great. What you're ready to do now is touch next one time, preview one time, and OK. Now our blank screen has something on it. We have in deep rose our background fill, and in purple our nice outline pin stitch all the way around our heart. Now we're ready to touch set, OK, and embroider, and I'll meet you back at the machine to sew it out. So we're ready now to go ahead and stitch out our heart for Valentine's Day with the nice background fill. And look at our edges. I can't wait to get started. You'll only need one thread color for this to complete it the way that I have. Of course, you have 2 different thread choices on your machine. If you wanted to put in 2 thread colors and do something different, you can. Today, I'm using Floriani thread in my upper needle, and I'm going to do that for both of the stitches. Let me lay this to the side and you'll see that I've got my hoop here, and I've selected a hoop, of course, that's giving me plenty of room and space to do my heart in. So according to your machine and what you like to use, you'll want to cut your fabric, of course, about 2 inches extra around the frame that you're going to be working in. Now when I finish this project today, I'll have a part 2 of this segment if you'd like to see this finished off into a pillow. But you can of course use this and do so many different things. Pillow, table runners, you can make a bag out of it, a treat bag, just most anything. So I hope you'll try this at home and finish your heart in some manner. So today we'll go ahead and take our fabric, hoop it up. You'll need 1 piece of stabilizer for the back. Today I selected a cutaway. I've been embroidering for quite a while, and I know that stabilizers are sometimes things that scare people. What you need to remember is you want to choose a stabilizer that's going to best support the stitches that you're fixing to stitch out, number 1, but also cooperate as it has to live in harmony with your project after everything is done. Now I'm making a pillow with mine, so I've selected a heavy cutaway because I'm going to stitch my design out and then I'm going to cut away from it like you see here. That cutaway support from the back will make that design a little more pronounced from the front, so that on the top side my stitches will behave the way I want them to. So let's get started. With my stabilizer just on the back here, I've positioned that in place with a little bit of glue stick or spray adhesive, whichever you prefer. Slide that into your machine and be sure to lock it down. I always support the back portion of my hoop slide when I'm applying the hoop, and the reason that I do that is sometimes we could easily move this and slide it completely off track. So support that as you slide it on, lock it down. Smooth everything out. You've got your bobbin thread in. Remember, we always need to use some type of bobbin fill on our embroidery projects. Our top thread is down and ready to go, and I'm going to go ahead and prepare to do our heart. My carriage is going to move, and I can see right where my heart is going to fall. One thing I want to teach some of you who may be new on your Destiny, if you look right here on the screen, you'll see a green little crosshair. That's showing us where this design is going to begin sewing. So I know that if I'm thinking that my design is going to start sewing there, then look with me at the machine itself and see that it's going to begin sewing about right here. Well, I know that I need to stitch my fabric down for my heart, so I'm just going to position that, you can see, equally positioned beneath my foot. I'm using a little scrap today. You use whatever you like, and we're going to be ready to start sewing real soon. What we're going to do is go ahead and completely stitch our rose pattern. Now our background fill has completely stitched out, and you can see that it's in a heart shape all the way around. What we're going to want to do at this point is go in and we're going to cut that heart shape out before we stitch our beading stitch or our little stars or dots or pin stitch. People call them so many different things. So really quick, what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to cut this heart out before we stitch the next step. I always like to share with you great products, and today I'm going to use the new product. These scissors have been around for a while and you've seen them, and they're great. They have a great edge. But Pickle Pie, the gang over at Pickle Pie, Lisa Archer and her staff have designed something new, and they've got these pink grips on them. Well, we love anything pink, don't we, girls? But these have an exceptional grip. So the nice thing about them is they feel really good in your hands. They're super sharp, and look at that scoop. So it makes it getting underneath that so smooth and easy, and you can get up close. So I'm going to do that real quickly. as you can see, our embroidery has completely finished. Let's take a look at how it turned out. All our edges are sewn perfectly down. You can see our little pin stitch right there. I love this effect. And our fill stitch looks just perfect. The next thing I want you to do, and sometimes it's easiest for me if I leave it in the hoop and I go ahead and trim away the stabilizer from the back. Now once you've done this, I cut that down. Let me show you. Then you can see your cutaway stays in completely, okay? And I'm gonna put this on a piece of batting so you can see. I cut this down to, let's say about 11.5 by 11.5 or 12 by 12. I'm gonna make a little Valentine's Day pillow for my sweetheart. So if you wanna stay tuned for part 2 of this, you'll wanna catch how we do some different serger techniques and that type of thing to finish up this great Valentine's Day pillow. Thanks for joining us today. It's Kim from Carolina Sewing Back.